When we think of American revolutions, we picture 1776, the Boston Tea Party, or perhaps the Civil War. But a century before the Declaration of Independence, colonial Virginia experienced a rebellion so threatening to the ruling class that it fundamentally restructured society to prevent it from ever happening again. This was Bacon's Rebellion of 1676, and it wasn't a fight for independence or abstract principles. It was a raw, violent class war that exposed the fragility of elite power and forced America's wealthy to choose between their profits and their survival. The story begins not with heroism, but with desperation. By the 1670s, colonial Virginia had become a pressure cooker of social tension. The colony's economy ran on tobacco, and tobacco required land and labor. The labor came from indentured servants, tens of thousands of them, both white Europeans and Africans, who had traded years of brutal servitude for the promise of freedom and 50 acres of land when their contracts expired. But here's the problem the colonial elite had anticipated. These servants actually survived and expected their promises to be kept. Each year, hundreds of former servants completed their terms and demanded their land. They found themselves in a colony where every acre of good coastal land was already claimed by the same wealthy planters who had worked them nearly to death. These planters controlled not just the land, but the government, the courts, and the military. They were Governor William Berkeley's circle, men who had grown rich on tobacco and saw no reason to share. The former servants, now free but landless, faced a crucial choice. They could stay on the coast, working for wages that barely kept them alive, renting land from the same masters they'd just escaped, watching the wealth they'd been promised evaporate. Or they could push west into the frontiers, onto lands claimed by Native American tribes, who had already been pushed back repeatedly by colonial expansion. Thousands chose the frontier. They settled illegally on native lands, cleared forests, planted tobacco, and dared anyone to remove them. When native tribes fought back, defending their territory against these squatters, the frontiersmen demanded that the colonial government protect them with military force. They wanted the colonial militia to drive out the Native Americans entirely, opening vast territories up for settlement. Governor Berkeley refused. This wasn't compassion for Native Americans, it was cold calculation. Berkeley and his inner circle profited enormously from the fur trade with native tribes. A war would disrupt this lucrative business.